So it's time for my second album review today. I did the album review for the new Between the Buried and Me earlier today, Automata 1. If you haven't watched that already, the video will be at the end of this one. That way you'll be able to watch it right away. It was not really popular, only like over 60 views so far, which is really sad because I put a lot of effort into my album reviews. But I understand that because all the reviews are released on the day of the release on the Friday, but I was not home due to my vacation. But yeah, I'll still make that one today for the new 3 Days Grace, and tomorrow I'll do the review for the new Judas Priest Firepower. Only for fun, but if you can share my review, that would be really fucking cool. At least I would get some views, and it wouldn't be done for nothing. But if you're watching that, guys, I really appreciate it. So let's go straight to the point already. Let's talk about the brand new album by 3 Days Grace, a Canadian band, just like me, Canadian guy. And let's see if it's better than the last album, Human, which was the first album with the new singer Matt. So let's talk about that, guys. So let's do this for the review of Outsider by 3 Days Grace. The first thing that I'm going to talk about in that review is this album better than Human? Because yeah, I could compare it to all the other 3 Days Grace album, but it's kind of unfair because for me, 3 Days Grace is still 3 Days Grace with Matt, but I can't really compare them with Adam and with Matt. So I'll just compare this album, Outsider, with Human. It will be easier to understand what I want to explain. So, is it better? Short answer, yes, but I need to explain more. Because Human has like bigger track, I would say, like the big single, the biggest songs are probably better than the biggest song and the singles on Outsider. Human has like I Am Machine, Painkiller, Human Race, and even Landmine, which was not a single, I think, but it was my favorite song and it's incredible. But overall, Human has some really boring track, really bad track, I would say. The best example for that is the song Car Crash, which is kind of awful lyrically. I cannot stand that song, but it's not the case in Outsider. Probably my least favorite would be I Am an Outsider. I loved it at first, but after a while I really got tired of this one. And the worst part of this album for me is probably Nothing, Me Against You and Love Me or Leave Me, so track number 6 and 7. But these tracks are still decent, and overall the album is really like cohesive. It's all good, so not a song that I would say that I don't like on this album. So really good thing for that, because that's what makes Outsider better than Human, and not only by like a glimpse, it's way better. So yeah, best songs on Human are better, but overall Outsider is way stronger, which makes it a better album. So as simple as that, but it was so long explanation. Anyway, at least now you understand why I'm saying that. So just like I do really often in my album review, I'll go with the top 5. But before I start with this top 5, honorable mention to track number 5, Nothing to Lose But You. Almost made the top 5. Usually I'm not a big fan of love song because sometimes it's really cringy, but this one is so good, so catchy. I love this one. So yeah, Nothing to Lose But You. You have to listen to that one. Almost made my top 5. But now in the 5th position, I went with Right, Left, Wrong. So if you saw my reaction for that one, you already know that I love this one. It has a pretty cool intro, even if it's weird, and but it's cool at the same way, because it makes the beginning of the album even more interesting. Only by listening to that song, you know that this album won't be boring. The lyrics are super good, even though they are pretty simple, but it's really not a problem here. That's the proof that you don't always have to go super deep and super complicated to do something good. In the fourth position, I went with The Mountain. This was the first single, and I was not convinced at all after the first listen. It took me a lot of listen to truly appreciate it, because even by the time Right Left Wrong was released, I listened to The Mountain like 10 times before and I was not convinced yet. So now it has grown on me. I love it even more than Right Left Wrong, and it truly deserves its place in the top 5 for me. It's almost as good or even better than Painkiller or I Am Machine from the album Human. It will also be a really good song to regain motivation when you have like a mountain of problems in front of you in life, which happens a lot of time when you have a small problem and it builds up into something huge. And this song will be good for motivation for sure, or just for training, or I don't know, but it will be pretty cool. In the third position, entering the top 3, I went with the song The Abyss. This is the last song on the album, and only with the title I know it would bring us to a really dark place. The beginning is not that dark, but act more as a build-up, in my opinion. It's really when we hit the chorus that you understand it's really a really dark song. I find it so cool that they tried that, because I don't recall 3 Days Grace ever doing something like this. My only complaint is that they could have done more screaming. There's a huge scream at the end, but putting more of them in the heavy parts would have been sick, especially in the second half of the song, which is the darker part. I understand that they're not really that kind of band, but Breaking Benjamin sounds pretty similar to them, and they do screaming sometime, which is pretty good. So it would have been really cool if they could have done that, like only for that song, but still remain a really strong song. After that, in the second position, I went with Villains I'm Not. This song, even without looking too much in the lyrics, is just so catchy, and you cannot do anything else than fall in love with it. The guitar sounds huge, and I love 3 Days Grace for these kind of riff, and that sound that you only have with them. Now, giving a bigger importance to the lyrics, you love the song even more, because I'm sure that probably everyone was in that kind of situation that is described in that song, so you can really relate to that, and it's so well written. So props to the person that wrote this song. I don't know if we have that information, but these lyrics are so fucking cool. And now, my favorite song on the album, I went with Strange Days. I love the vibe of this song as soon as it started, like on the first listen. I was already in love with it. It was love at first sight, like wow. I have to admit that it's really the chorus that convinced me. It reminded me so much of old 3 Days Grace, and it's a really good thing, because my favorite album by them is still the very first album, which I think is a self-title, even after all these years. So yeah, pretty fucking cool. The more melodic part after the second chorus is absolutely beautiful, and it brings you into a different place, like different world. It's that great. I could blast that song all day and still wouldn't be tired of it. 3 Days Grace really achieved something great with this one. So there we go with my top 5. Like I said, I didn't talk about each and every song, but I told you also my least favorite at the beginning. But there was not a bad song on that album, so really strong record. I hope to see 3 Days Grace really soon, because I'll be going to Rock on the Rage in May. I really hope that I'll be able to catch their set. I'll do everything that I can to do that, because yeah, even though it's a band from my country and they're really often in Montreal, I never saw them, which is a shame. So I need to see 3 Days Grace in the near future. So let me know what you think of this brand new album by the band. was it still worth to do a review if even 3 days after the listen? Not the listen. What the fuck am I saying? I'm too tired, guys. Was it still worth to do a review even 3 days after the release? That's what I'm asking myself, because do you guys still care? Just tell me in the comment section. I'll still do the Judas Priest review tomorrow, even if you don't care, but I'll know for future videos. So thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe if you love what I do on this channel, and take care. I'll see you all later.